It has now been 2 weeks since the unprecedented cyber attack that crippled the internet infrastructure of the Western Hemisphere. What began as a widespread disruption of communication and data systems has since snowballed into catastrophic collapse of essential services. Power grids remain unstable across much of the United States, and public utilities continue to face severe interruptions. Access to clean water and reliable electricity is sporadic at best in many areas, with local governments struggling to restore order. The situation has grown more critical in the past 48 hours. Following weeks of escalating tensions, China has launched a full-scale military assault on Taiwan, attempting to reintegrate the island into its control. Reports confirm that airstrikes, naval blockades, and ground forces are actively engaged in the region. The United States, along with several allied nations, has formally entered the conflict, committing military resources to Taiwan's defense. Back here at home, the United States is facing a different type of warfare. Widespread violence, looting, and large-scale attacks on critical infrastructure have intensified across the nation. Authorities believe many of these attacks are a result of organized criminal elements, possibly linked to international cartels, who have exploited the chaos for their own gain. State forces are struggling to regain control of the streets, with reports of law enforcement being overwhelmed in several major cities. There are also troubling reports that certain militias, both organized and loosely affiliated, have begun to mobilize in response to what they perceive as a government failure to protect citizens. The situation is volatile, with state officials divided on whether these militias should be engaged or allowed to operate with minimal interference. At this point, the presence of these militias has become a controversial topic, with many local governments expressing concerns.
This came through the net.
021. That's us, boys. Let's see what we got. All right, boys. We got a mission. Go ahead and let the other watch know that you're going to be tied up. Everybody, meet me in the team room in 30 minutes. Cool?
Sounds good. Roger that.
All right. All right. So the coordinates they gave us for the communications are coming out of this square here. Now, I'm thinking is they're coming off the top of this hill. That'd probably give them the best spot to get as much range out of their radios as they can to talk to whoever they're talking to. And if they have anything to do with what's been going on, we need to figure it out.
It's about time.
So it's going to be 2 teams. You and I are going to be on foot, and you 2 are the vehicle team.
I'll drive.
There's a road that runs along right here. Now, it's a bit of a drive, but if we hurry, I think we can get in tonight. All right, here's how we're going to do this. We're going to insert right there. That should give us a minimal amount of things to have to move through till we get to this trail. once we get to that trail, I'm thinking that we'll set up for the rest of the day tomorrow and just see if we can see any activity. We'll check the radio. We'll see if we can hear anything, just to confirm they might still be out there. For the time window, I'm thinking we give it 2 nights. If we hurry, we can get in tonight, and then we'll set up at that spot along that trail. And then if we see anything, we'll try to go check it out. If we don't see anything, we might move to a different location, and you need to give us an extra night. Once we're done with whatever we're doing out here, you guys are going to have to pick us up. I have our primary extraction point right here. We're going to call that Goldfinger. The secondary extraction point is right there. We're going to call that Quicksilver. And our tertiary extraction point is going to be over here. We're going to call that Bronzer.
What's the backup plan?
All right, well, if for whatever reason we're not able to get picked up by you guys, we're going to have to make it back on foot. As far as the radio plan is concerned, we can't have you guys hanging out in this area all day. So you guys are going to go home each night, but between 03 and 07, I need you somewhere in this area. Hopefully you can pick up our radio communications if we happen to send anything during that. For packing, I think we can go pretty light. If we can't get picked up, we'll still be able to hit our cache points here and here, and those should work. So, does that make sense?
Yeah. Sounds
All
good
right.
to me. Yep.
Cool, that's all I got. 1900 is going to be final checklist, and then we'll get out of here.
Sweet.
Sweet, let's do it.
Roger that.
right up here. Hold the brakes and let them know.
All right, that's the signal. You ready to go, bro?
Let's do this. Yep.
Hey man, I gotta throw my fleece on.
All right, bro. When you're done with that, I'm gonna check the map again. All right, cover me.
Alright, man. I think we're about to pass our last water source. I want to grab a little bit extra, and then we'll head out. Alright.
J-hook into our hide site. Sound good?
Got it.
Cool. spot to set up for the night. Right in between these logs. Sound good?
Yeah, I'm set up.
Alright, give me 1 second.
Yo, got any crumbs? I'm hungry.
You hungry, man?
Yeah.
I got a Cliff Bar.
Half.
Yeah, we split it. To be honest, I don't know how many of these we have left at home. But these are kind of nice.
Special occasion today.
Special occasion. It's a little treat. Sleep okay, man?
Oh, yeah, like a log.
Yeah. I haven't seen anybody. I haven't heard anybody either. I've been scanning the radio channels. Nothing so far. When I'm done with this, we'll switch spots. I'll get a little bit of sleep and then I'll have you take my helmet to listen in. Alright, man. If you hear anything, there's a notepad.
¿A dónde fuiste, hombre? Relájate. Acabo de salir a caminar. Necesitaba un descanso. Estoy cansado. Estaba aquí pensando cosas. Sabes que realmente no deberías usar la radio si no tienes que hacerlo. Nunca sabes quién está escuchando. Cálmate. Estos pequeños horarios no van tan lejos como nuestro cráneo. Y además, no hay nadie aquí de todos modos. Tienes que volver al campamento. Hay muchas cosas que hacer y solo hay pocos de nosotros aquí arriba. Sí, ya voy. Espero que esa lista del jefe siga hablando realmente. Valga la pena para que podamos destruir la carga.
What's up?
Yo. Consistent transmission. 2 guys talking. He's asking when he's gonna get back.
Okay.
Something about a list.
Yeah. You think it's the same guys we're out here for?
So there's only a few out there.
Okay.
He said he's been waiting.
Well, if we can hear them, honestly, they gotta be on the top of that hill. Alright, well, let's see if we can put the drone up, see what we can get. feet out of these trees. We're about right here. This is the trail, and this is probably where they're at. If you come around this way, you should be able to buzz by this way. If they have any kind of tents or something up there, we should be able to see it. And that's all I need to know. We only got one of these, so don't crash it.
I'll bring it back.
Okay.
Just left the canopy now.
All right, sweet.
I'll let back up a little bit.
Okay.
Get it wide. See, 2.
Yeah, dude, that's it. Okay, yeah. Bring it back.
Alright.
Sweet. Yeah, man. Right where we thought they'd be. Just 2 tents.
Yep.
That's right there. I think that's gonna be. Alright. If they're at the top of that hill, they're probably using this trail to come in and out if they are moving. I haven't seen anybody on this side of the trail, but who knows if they're on the other side, so I'd like to avoid it entirely. If we hook out this way, and then we take this ridge all the way up, we should be able to get a lot closer. But we need to move slow. We got plenty of time. It's about to get dark here soon, so we can start to break down camp after that. And then we'll just slowly make our way in.
It's gonna be a long night.
It is going to be a long night. Here's my question to you, man. We were just told to get eyes on. But now they have some kind of list. You want to try to grab it?
Intel's priority.
Yeah. We'll get close enough to at least get a numbers count. We'll hang out a little bit. Depending on how we feel about it, we'll decide.
Just board it in for now.
Alright, so, Luis isn't going to get back into the area until 03 is the first time he's supposed to be back in the area. So I don't want to really be doing anything until then. We can get close, but I don't really want to be doing anything until he's able to pick us up in case we gotta beat feet out of here. So that gives us quite a bit of time to get close. And then once we do that, we can just go from there. If anything, maybe get some pictures or something. But if it looks advantageous, then we'll crash their party. Sound good?
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah, I think we found him.
Apparently they decided fire was a good idea. It ain't even that cold.
What are you guys doing out here?
My guess is they're some sort of comms outpost for coordinating these attacks that have been going on in the area.
I wonder if this is the only group.
Yeah, we need to keep that in mind. If anything goes down, I don't want to be running away from these dudes and then run into another group.
Think they got security posted?
Not sure they take security that seriously, but we should definitely keep an eye out for an LPLP. Can't get any closer with these leaves. So let's swing around on those rocks and see if we can get a better look.
At least these crickets are pretty loud. Should give us a little cover.
Clearly got this close and somehow they haven't heard us.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're paying much attention.
I see 4 dudes so far. Alright, man. Looks like they're 2 long guns.
these are the guys we're out here for. If they have some sort of list, I want to try to grab it.
Mira, hasta ahora las operaciones en la área han ido bien. Muchos objetivos claves han estado neutralizados y no hemos perdido tantos soldados. Estaba mirando la lista que no han dado y te puedo decir que las cosas van a estar cambiando aquí. Nuestros radios van a estar ocupados. Ustedes dos, quédense del guardia. Maten lo que acercan. Creo que he escuchado un dron varador más temprano.
Says on our radios, list, and kill when it gets close. Well then, let's at least take these guys out of the equation. Try to find that list. If we're gonna do this, now's the time. Let's try to work down these rocks. We gotta make this fast just in case there's anybody else out here. And remember, we were never here. So no quarter. No quarter.
Chingado.
I got something. Cover me real quick. We gotta drive. All right, man. I'm good. Get out. You good, bro? Shaking a little bit.
No trouble, no trouble.
Okay, okay.
All right, man.
I gotta put some stuff in my pack. I want to check the map. Just keep an eye out. All right, man, you got that poncho? Alright, bro. Up off. We're very close to the secondary extraction point, so we're gonna go there instead. Alright, Alright, man, this is the road. But I think we gotta be further down that way. So, we're almost there.
Sweet.
At least the moon waited until now to come out. Yeah. Alright. Let's see if they're listening. Hot Wheels, this is Shoelace. We are Quicksilver.
Shoelace, this is Hot Wheels. Quicksilver, acknowledged.
Cool, man, they heard us. We're on our way.
All right. Quicksilver's about a mile further.
take a different way home.
Figure out how to get it to him. That was a long walk, dude. I need to change my socks. How are your feet? How are your feet?
More blisters.
Yeah. Well, hopefully it'll be a few days before they give us another one.